This is a story about queer love, about jealousy, about dealing with our past, about moral injury, religious trauma, and these long inherited value systems, and the deconstruction of it, and the reconciliation of one's body. And it's written by me, edited by my dear friend Jackson Doudney. And the title is Our Bodies, and it's a 7-chapter story. So stay tuned. Chapter 1. The water ran red, then pink, and endlessly spiraled down the drain. An abandoned airport, that's where we are. With a few planes rusting on the landing pad, Jasper, our protagonist, stared at himself in the mirror. Pupils dilated, his mind empty, his breath steady. Almost too steady. 23. The number 23 turned 24. This number throbs on his right temple. His body was still recovering from this ecstasy. He looked down at his knuckle. Finally, it was just his own blood. He scooped a handful of water and drank it. Alex's smile flashed through his head, and he remembered his kind face. He said, "The water's still drinkable." He was kind, and he was also safe until he had met Jasper. "This is where I sleep, and there's food. It's for you too." People seemed to have left the airport in a haste. Everything was untouched. There was still food to be scavenged at the bars, and the suitcase laid litter with their contents splayed across the floor like ripped intestines. Now there's rows of whiskey that will still sit nicely on the shelf, though dusty, eerie. Jasper stalked out of the bathroom, and before him a long row of full-length glass windows. It was quite a beautiful sight. And next to it is the row of chairs where he and Alex had shared their passionate nights together. Now Alex's body was lying there motionless, and his face obscured by blood. The lustful moments slowly resurfaced from Jasper's mind. He remembered the highs and how they all finally became nothingness, as the void dissipated from his chest, releasing his long-held breath. And silence. A silence accompanied by the sickly squelch from his fist crushing Alex's jaw. Lessons. Jasper had learned lessons. He learned that the best way to survive through the guilt was to make the most of his boiling blood. And to let the fear consume him as fiercely as the void that chased him. The uglier the final look was, the less beautiful the portrait, the less reason to remember. Just like how he could almost forget the softness of Alex's feature under all that mess. Before Alex, Jasper had wandered for days on end before finally reaching the airport's barbed wire fences. He saw Alex standing on the open airstrip, his blonde hair lightly picked up by the westerly wind. And Jasper remembered feeling struck by his piercing blue eyes. And later, Alex said he supposed that Jasper wouldn't be interested in him, that he was just friendly and passing through on his travels. From then on, they got to know each other quite quickly. Out of some weird shared understanding, neither men mentioned anyone else from the past. They talk of each other's journey like they were the only people in this world. There is no mention of numbers and certainly no names. Jasper wasn't sure of his own intentions. There were moments he noticed his eyes lingered on Alex's, and when he kissed Alex mid-sentence, Alex was surprised. And thinking back now, so was Jasper. And time started ticking for the two at that moment. After all, Alex's tongue had quenched Jasper's thirst. The warmth of his skin had created home for Jasper, at least for a few nights. And if he could, Jasper would have slowed everything down. He wanted to make Alex last, but every time he slipped through Alex's skin, he felt himself drifting ever closer to the inevitable. And then finally, as always, his heart ceased and curdled. Jasper punched his fist against the concrete wall just to feel something outside of himself. If he hasn't noticed it, what had given it away? A moment flashed through Jasper's head. He remembered how Alex paused halfway, his lips half satisfied as they traced up Jasper's belly, then his chest, and swam onto his lips. Then he lifted himself far enough for Jasper's feature to come into focus. Alex's gaze was filled with sorrow of the knowing. In that moment, he had fallen for Jasper, and it's time to reconcile with destiny. So Alex handed over his name. Alex, that's my name. Jasper gave no response. He couldn't bring himself to say anything. Then Alex sighed, sank himself back into Jasper's climax. Jasper remembered the silhouette of Alex's backside against the sunset that night, and the way that distant feeling had surfaced within him. The triumph was appointed at that moment between two of them. Now Jasper sat at the end of the row, staring at Alex's disfigured face. He tried desperately not to guess what Alex's numbers could be. But maybe he had a fair share of lives in his hands too. That would at least be a little comfort. But worst, much worst, was the possibility of this being his first, his initiation. And it almost made sense. Alex was a little awkward. The odd fumble of touch gives off the scent of lacking experience. Is this it? Is this how we must live now? Alex whispered, voice hoarse from exhaustion, from pleasure. His questions lingered in the air, then disappeared. Jasper had no answers for atonement. The days exhausted Jasper's passion slowly. But he was hungry, so he devoured, pouring out the last drop of his tenderness, or to reach the void again. In the final climax, Jasper kissed Alex, a slow, lingering kiss. He wanted Alex to think, just for a second, that this isn't goodbye. Alex saw the change in Jasper's eyes and tried to reach for a piece of broken glass to even attempt his survival. They always put up a fight, Jasper recalled. But in those moments, the survival of love was apparent. Like the dance of praying mantises, love had a way of overpowering the fallen hearts. It held back your hand to defend yourself from the coming blow. Love forces you to smile till your last breath. The word came out of Jasper's throat so unconvincingly as his fist tore through Alex's jaw. I'm sorry. And this is the reality of love for them, for Jasper and the others. Love is an infestation, a plague of pleasure, and ultimately, death. Thank you. And this is chapter 1. And there's 6 more chapters for you to come. Thank you. I hope you enjoy.